YouTube viewers. Once again, welcome to the operation. This is Discovery World Channel. Thank you once again for your subscription, your comment, and also your contribution when we order to make this channel a success. For some time now, we have been discussing about the errors free engine designer made during the process of designing free engine generator. Last week, I looked intensively on the two common errors that were made. I'm going to make a reaction on that, then go back to today based on what requests I received. The two errors I pointed out was this area, and I remember I explained that you cannot use a single phase generator on a three-phase motor, and this is one of the errors that people made. And I explained different things you need to do. A three-phase motor must always go to three-phase generator because the connection and configurations are different. I also pointed out by using this illustration on this generator. I told you that, as you can see here, this is a three-phase generator and this is a three-phase motor. The two of them goes together, and also explain about the asynchronous and synchronous process. And I told you the process like this one, you see the arrow pointers showing the direction of the generator. That if the direction of the generator is clockwise, then the motor direction also should be clockwise. But if the generator is anti-clockwise, then the motor should be also anti-clockwise. I also explained in a very illustration way what clockwise and anti-clockwise is all about for a better understanding. And I use a clock. For example, I told you clockwise is where we start from 12 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until we reach 11. And then while anti-clockwise is when we take it from 11, 10, 9, 8, and so on to come back to 1. So I explained that in details. And then I also mentioned about this example. I told you a single phase generator must always go for a single phase motor. I used this generator as a good example. I explained in details, and that is what we did last week. Now today I'm going to explain something very important because I received a very a production from one of my subscribers, and he asked me some few questions which I want to share with my other subscriber in the channel, because the essence why I always ask for comment and also your questions is for me to explain so that others who may have issue or who may want to design will also avoid such error in case they want to do that. That's the essence for your questions. And I also advise sometimes if you send me the image or video so that I will explain, because this is the essence for the channel, to teach you, educate you, and also bring to your knowledge the latest technology as far as free engine design is concerned. So today somebody sent this and he sent it to me, and this is what he explained, and then I have error. Now there are some error I observe in this generator which the young man sent to me. But he said exactly what he said. He said, "Hello, can you please advise me? The set consists of a generator, 15 kilowatts, 3-phase electric motor, 5 kilowatts, 3-phase. Flywheel is already replaced by 40 kilograms. The flywheel speed is 33,000 RPM. Transmission from this speed is equal to 1,600 RPM. It does not work." Now this is what he sent to me, and is pointing out on the configuration of the whole thing. And if I may look at critically, as earlier said, the error of this generator is first of all the alignment process. And you can see it's not properly aligned, and this can affect the output of the generator, because when the alignment is not properly done, the turning of the generator also will be affected, because it is the turning that enable the generator to produce life. The motor is properly aligned, and as you can see, it's well aligned. And then if you observe now, the generator is pushed it out. So I earlier said it would be better for him to place this flywheel at the center of the two devices, rather than pushing it out so that it can be able to have speed. I know it's trying to economize cost, as you can see that he used only one bearings here, and then maybe two doesn't want to cost much, or because of the space between the two systems. So that is why he had to push it out. But he never knew that pushing it out will also not give proper alignment, because as far as I'm concerned, this generator should have produced a better voltage, because the equipments are new. As the equipments are very new, so it's not using a scrap or old equipment, so it should be properly done. It should have properly give a good output. So that is one of the things I was also. What you should do, Mr. Jones, please push this flywheel forward. By so doing, you can take this flywheel to the center, if possible, to avoid to make the generator align properly. And that is one of the things I want to advise you to do. Or if you are trying to economize space, because I'm seeing that you are trying to economize the space here, you can bring out a little the motor here to be out a little, so they can have a bigger space where you will mount this system properly. But by so doing, it will be able to save cost. Or you can push this flywheel upward, and then in this case you're going to put an iron that go up and come down like a triangle. Then you push the flywheel upward, so that it will now be on form of a V shape. So the burner will look up and come down. By so doing, it will also help you to save the cost of the space, because the alignment aspect is very important if you want to have a good output. But you have not told me whether you have any output at all, but you told what you say that it does not work. So I don't know whether it's in terms of not giving you the output result at all, there was no LCD at all coming out, or that it does not switch off when you want to switch off into some internal power supply. That's one, but you have not said that. That was why I asked you for the video, because the essence why sometimes I ask for the video is for me to look at it critically on my own, and then observe some certain things and watch it. When I watch the video you produce on what you've done, I can be able to observe it critically and I know where the fault comes from, because sometimes you just write a write-up here and you will not go in details, and that will not enable me to give you the better answer you may expect. Then the next thing I want to look at the generator now is the area of your configuration, because I've seen that you spend money to do this thing, and I appreciate that so much. You spend money to do the work of this generator, and that's what I want most of my subscriber to do. Sometimes you use something, but one the thing I observe here is you are using 5 kilowatts 3-phase motor. Now the kilowatts of the motor is too high, because the motor does not produce electricity. I've told you earlier in some of my videos in the past that the only thing the motor does is to help to turn the generator. The primary purpose of the motor is serve as the engine of the generator, because without the motor, the generator will not turn. So the motor is to turn. Now the essence of the free energy now is for the motor, for the generator now, to give back to the motor that which is sent to the generator. And what does it send to the generator? It sends what I call the force of the gravity, the force of the to turn the force, and then the generator now send back to the motor the resistance which the motor generated based on the speed it offers. Now, if the motor does not have sufficient voltage, or let me just say, if the motor carry all the resistance based on what I've seen here, 5 kilowatts, it means out of 15 kilowatts, you have already make away with 5 kilowatts from the motor alone. So what you have left is 10 kilowatts, and this 10 kilowatts now, if you sometimes the coil, depending on what the motor is being, sorry, depending on what the generator is. If the generator does not have a good coil, it may not give you exactly 15 kilowatts. It may be like 14 or thereabout. So now, if you subtract 5 from this 15, you only have 10 in the case of when there's full production. Then what the 10 now, can you be able to use to run your whole house when there is one question to answer? But what I advise my subscriber most of the time is for them to use a motor that has less consumption of electricity. Maybe you can go like 1.5. I have a motor that consumes only 1.5. So and it still runs 15 kVA generator. So it means if I have 1.5 kilowatts of a motor, subtract 1.5 from 15, you just have about 13.5 left. So 13.5 is enough to carry out my load. I hope you understand what I say. So this is what I also advise you, this observation I've made here. Then another area is the area of the flywheel, the load. Now your flywheel is, according to what you say, you place it with 4 kilogram, and then the speed of the motor, because what I'm seeing here is a transmission is 1600 RPM, which means the speed of the motor, because you have already put the speed of the flywheel, and you say the flywheel is 3000 RPM. So I assume that this speed you put here, the transmission rate is this. 73 is the transmission rate on the generator, but I believe it's for the motor. Then this is low transmission, and if it's low transmission, then you should reduce the flywheel, because if the flywheel go for 40, then and the transmission is 1600, it means you are giving the motor a overload, and when the motor is overloaded, it is not good for the generator, because the generator will not be able to produce at maximum, because it is the motor that turns the generator, and if the motor is on a high rate, therefore the production of the generator will be also in high rate, then you have the maximum. But in the case where the motor is already being overloaded with a load of flywheel of this nature, then what do you expect from the generator? So you should expect less production. So this might also be the cause of the reason why you do not have what you expect. So I want you to make correction on that area. So if the transmission of this 1600 is from the motor RPM, therefore you should go back to at least 30,000. Sorry, because you go back to something lower, about maybe 25 or 30 kilogram of flywheel, if you still wish to use a flywheel on your design. That's why I also advise you that area. And as you do that, you should be able to have a good pressure on that. So please make that correction and then give me the feedback. So let us go ahead and see the system now. Now look at this one now. Just last week I used this as an example to you, and look at this now. If you observe critically in this system now, you will see that this generator, this motor and this generator, they are well aligned. You can see the correct alignment on this two system. You can see here and here well straight. So if you want to do a good production, please take alignment into consideration. Alignment must be done properly. Don't ever, you have spent money to purchase materials, so the alignment should be done. Then if you also observe the configuration of this, you can see the black goes to black, the red go to red, and this cable system here, all this one go to this place, because remember that this generator supply voltage to this motor. So that is why you can see the cable now run into this place. So if you are doing configuration of this nature, your black here must go to the black here, your red here must go to your red here, which is negative and positive, and if there is a neutral, your neutral must also go to neutral. And then this joint must also be firm where tight. Never you use a joint that is not well. The flywheel must always be well aligned. That is why you see this is a perfect system you can copy from. It's better for you to design a simple system. It does not mean that for you to go into a system that at the end you don't have what you want, because that is one of the problems some of you will have. If you are not well aligned and not using it proper, and the connection here as a whole is not properly done, you will not have a good life. So please follow the example, copy the right ones, and try to do it. And don't forget that in every invention there must always be an improvement. Thank you.